Mother, man.
Hey everybody, this is Dugout Dick hanging in my caves of murder metal mayhem. Drink up!
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
All right. Old Dugout doing a little promo for us here.
What the fuck's up?
Hey, it's Tuesday, doing that thing we do, a little new Murder Metal Mayhem for everybody, a little bonus episode tonight, Chris.
A little shortened version.
That's right, short and condensed, Reader's Digest version of Murder Metal Mayhem.
Cliff
All right,
notes.
That's right. Got Chris
Murder
and
Metal
Joey
Mayhem
in
for
here
dummies.
with me.
Murder Metal Mayhem for dummies.
Right? That's great. That's what we should call the next activity book.
For real.
We've been talking about doing a new activity book. Actually, that's a great idea. So did you guys have a good Memorial Day weekend?
Not too tabby, not too shabby. Pretty
Fucking
sweet.
weather was amazing, man.
Yeah.
It was like perfect. So really good. We did a cookout.
Yeah, we did some grilling yesterday and hung
Cool.
out. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a great weekend. And speaking of Memorial Day, you know, of course, we have nothing but the utmost respect for the military and those that fight for our country. And, you know, Memorial Day is a day of remembering them, the ones that have fallen, you know, because freedom is not free. And so
Word.
the fact we could be shining jewels of fucking ignorance on the fucking podcast waves,
Thanks
doing
to
what
them.
we do, is an example of how much we are indebted to those who gave their lives so we could be free and speak our minds like we do. So we appreciate
right.
that.
Part of my weekend consisted of Saturday, my youngest daughter shaving my head. And
Oh, shit.
leaving a big ass heart on the back of my head. So I got a heart shaved into my fucking.
Oh, nice.
It's like, God
Nice.
damn it.
I thought you were going to say a rat tail.
I mean, if I let it grow out, shit.
right. That's funny. And
And obviously,
Joey, what
he
about
wasn't
you
a
then?
fallen soldier, but Dugout Dick, we're going to talk about, he was in the military.
That's right. I was actually a by mistake kind of tie in there.
Right.
So yeah, so we're gonna talk about him. And what about T-shirts? What do we got on, Chris? I like that.
I got the good old Ted Bundy rest in peace shirt Joey gave me a while back. So
Nice. As his
rocking that
attorney,
shirt.
being his own attorney there.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a great one. That is a really good shirt. Joey, what about you, man?
I'm wearing the Blistering Defilement shirt, and that's a band from Florida. Me, Chris, and Michael saw them whenever I played the Grindfest down in Tampa.
Fuck yeah.
But I figure since it's been a little hotter in the area, and I don't like that sun too much whenever it's like up over 90. But so Blistering Defilement's like my blistering sunlight.
There you
Right.
go. There you go. And I busted out this
Fuck yeah.
it's
shining
fucking
T-shirt with
nasty.
the two little girls on it. I've had this one a while, but I busted it out the other day, and the lady checking me out at Walmart Friday night was staring at it. She goes, God, that shirt's really creepy. And I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is
That ain't
nothing.
nothing.
Jenny's like, yeah, that's like one of the shirts he could actually wear out
in public.
without getting people all weirded out, you know. So
I didn't even
and
notice
my
it.
shirts aren't nearly as bad as some of your guys'
Right.
stuff.
I never noticed that shirt that it has the fucking pages from the book in it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good one. So one of my favorite books of all time, and I also love the movie, even though they're very different. Really love The Shining. All right, we're going to be doing another fake round of commercials tonight, guys. We get some good ones for the
Yes,
listeners,
yes.
don't we, Chris?
Yes, we do.
Got a
They're gonna
couple of
be
old favorites
coming back.
and got some new stuff. So I think everybody's going to get a kick out of it. This is one of our favorite things, if not our favorite thing to do.
Fuck
is
yeah, I love doing
the stupid
commercials.
fake commercials. So came up with, I think, 4 or 5 of them. So we'll do that tonight.
Fuck yeah.
Last week, guys, we wrapped up the most horrible month of May with some awful fucking female killers. And last week, Janine Jones, the angel of death, the killer nurse responsible for as many as 60 infant deaths, Chris.
That's what
wow.
they say, yeah.
state of Texas, the late 70s and early 80s, but very fucked up.
I thought it was cool that since we were told about that episode basically from our buddy Tex,
Yeah.
who couldn't be with us because he was on a fucking manhunt.
He was on a mission.
But I
sure.
saw afterwards he commented saying that we did a good job on it, though.
Yes. Yeah, that was cool. So always love to have somebody that knows something, about a story to acknowledge. Like, man, you guys did a really good job with that one. Like Mick, when we had him on to talk about some different killers, and he loved the Ivan Milat episode. He thought that we did a great job, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty awesome from a fucking Australian federal police officer."
Yeah, that knows all about it. Like, like you guys did a good job. With
Yeah,
that. Like,
so that's just really cool. So we did that, and then Joey, you had the horns.
Yeah, I talked about Crotch Ripper,
Fuck
which is
yeah.
a band from around here. It's our buddies.
Yeah.
Who just released their second full length, Trolls vs. Lizards. And I did an interview with Alex, too, so that was cool.
Yeah, that was really good. We always love to tie the interviews in with the metal segments when we can. So that was some good shit. And we released a bonus episode with that full interview you did with Alex on Friday. And so if you missed episode 180, go on and check it out. We were just passing 800 to that one today. And we were passing 500, Joey, on the Crotch Ripper.
That's
interview.
pretty good because
That is good.
I'd hit around 1,000 for like the bigger dudes like Vaughn or Kevin. Like I get that,
Right.
but for somebody who's mostly known around here,
That's right.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and I'm glad 500 people were able to get turned on to a band they don't know anything about, probably, so that's really cool. I also put together the video of our metal segment from episode 177.
When Joey did fucking Leviticity.
Yeah, that was badass. And Joey, you did the interview with Vaughn, like you mentioned.
Yep.
And so if you watch the video, you can see pictures and stuff of the band when that's going on.
Got to check
and
our
the rest
YouTube
of us,
channel out.
Us in the studio, just doing what we do.
Check that YouTube. We keep putting a little bit of stuff up, and we're talking about how we can get more involved down there too. So
We've been talking about that a lot.
Yeah,
so.
subscribe to it, and check the notification tab so you can get the notifications when we post content. And there's some good stuff on there already, but we keep just adding to it. And so check that out. It's in the episode description too, a link to that. Now, tonight we're going to be doing a bonus episode. As you pointed out, Chris, it's different than the usual. We're not doing the murder, metal, and mayhem format where, for our new listeners that maybe aren't familiar with these, we pick one single topic and we just talk about that.
Shorter.
Yeah, they're shorter episodes. Some of them have been like a half hour.
Sometimes we need a break recording, man.
Oh, I'll tell you what, after that month of May with all those disgusting fucking females, I definitely needed a break.
Yeah, this is lighthearted.
God, yeah, this is kind of a lighthearted story, kind of fun. And, talking about murder and babies and fucking...
There is one murder.
There is one murder in there. That's true. That's true. And a haunting.
Yes, exactly.
So they're definitely it's our style, but it's definitely on the light end of.
Oh yeah.
And the females in May were on the opposite end, the real fucking horrible brutal shit.
I mean, this tale that we're talking about today is a fucking, like I said, there is a murder tie-in to it, but really the whole story is like pretty lighthearted and it's just a cool story.
Yeah, it is a little palate cleanse after a disgusting month, and we're going to dial up the nastiness for June. So if you're, wondering, oh man, are these guys slipping? Are they just getting too soft? No, not at all. We're gonna do the episode tonight. Then the next one you'll hear will be the Manson family episode. The following week we're gonna be off.
That's currently just Patreon only.
Right. So everybody will get to hear the Manson family episode that we did a few months ago. Patreon's already heard it, but everybody else has not. And then coming off of that will be some brutal shit. Burke and Hare is the first one in the chute, and that is the pair from the early 1800s in Scotland that were grave robbers that figured out they could make a lot more money a lot faster if they just went out and killed the people instead of robbing the graves. So they fucking started a commercial fucking enterprise, and they were going around murdering people and fucking
I mean, shit.
selling the bodies, and they were making a fucking lot of money. So that is definitely a brutal one. And I love that concept of the grave robbing and the idea of them becoming serial killers. It's inspired me to write a short story called Death of a Resurrection Man, which is about that very subject of a grave robber gone serial killer. So that's what's coming up, giving you a little insight. Thank you to everybody that's out there listening to this story, because we really appreciate it. This guy Dugout Dick is like a cult-like figure, and these cabins he carved into the side of the mountain is just really unbelievable. And so we thought we'd share that with you guys. But we saw last week a big week, guys. 3,950 total listens. So hell yeah.
Hell yeah, that's dope.
Thank you.
Did you see, since we're doing the Manson family coming up, fucking Patty Krenwinkel?
I did.
She was fucking recommended for parole.
Yes.
That's different than any of the other ones have gotten so
That's
far.
right. She may get out.
Yeah, I always said that I never thought any of them would get out, but 2020 showed me a lot of shit's different than whatever I would expect. And,
That's true.
yeah, I saw that, and I was like, they're recommending her. She might be out.
She might.
Leslie
Van Houten.
Van Houten, she just went up for parole like a couple months ago, I
Yeah.
think, and they denied her.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting how, she might actually
Yeah, she's
out.
And out of all of them, she was the one that I would figure would get
would
out.
have gotten out.
Be Leslie Van Houten.
But she was the thing that ties her so hard is she was at the Sharon Tate killings,
Right.
And that was the big name, the headline shit.
Right.
It's like you're still in a lot of people's fucking mind. over
Yeah,
that
she
shit.
wasn't like driving the getaway
Right,
car. She
right.
was stabbing
Yep.
people in the
Right.
fucking lawn, like.
So anyway,
pretty brutal.
that's some new shit. But we're gonna drop our Manson family episode,
Yeah.
so you guys can check it out.
Definitely. So, all right, well, we got a lot on our plate tonight, taking a little trip west to the state of Idaho. I don't think we've ever been there. So we're going to maybe get some potatoes while we're there and see if we could find some hermits
Right?
dug out in the fucking side of a mountain, Chris.
Hell yeah. So let's just get our hermit life on for real, dude.
I started in the final from a mountain home. I creep way down the hung dog bay, that's where I long to go. Some start to be when I started dreaming of the place where flowers bloom. Get back again and I live to the end of my rich mountain home. I never knew I could be so sad that I live my mountain home.
All right, a little Dugout Dick and his music there, play a little acoustic and singing for some reporters that came to see him there in Elk Bend, Idaho, to learn more about him. They wrote all kinds of articles about this dude, which we're going to talk about.
It's awesome. Is it like he fucking kind of grew up a little bit. We'll talk about it, but like in that hobo life, the train life,
Yeah,
and that's where his music stemmed from. Was
Definitely.
his time riding the trains for real. Like,
yeah.
super.
Yeah,
cool.
that's how he survived. He gave lessons and did shit like that. So a topic like this, definitely a departure from the usual, but it is nice to break it up with a story like this one. I stumbled on this on YouTube. I'm not sure why the algorithm sought me out for this.
probably because you've been to Jerome,
That's possible. And I know Chris Shawback.
and you know,
And I'm
Shawback.
Chris Shawback's friend. So yeah, that's very possible. So Dugout Dick Zimmerman is who we're going to talk about, also known as the Salmon River Caveman. I like Dugout Dick
I
better.
like Dugout Dick.
Salmon River Caveman. It's
Salmon
pretty
River
awesome,
Caveman.
though.
That is pretty cool. So he was a hermit that started his own little community of like-minded people in a very remote rural area of Idaho. And we're going to share this one with you guys tonight. Now, Chris, when I watched this doc on this dude, there were a couple I watched. I wondered if he was like the forefather of the Shawback
I
Nation.
mean, it's kind of the same. Because once he got started, dude, everybody just like, oh,
Yeah, they wanted to
It's-
come hang out.
almost cult status.
Yeah, very much. Very much. So I'm wondering if you guys need to get a framed picture of Dugout Dick
Yeah.
and the
Nation
fucking
and shit.
at the Nation. I think that would be the thing. Don't you believe
I'm
that?
watching that shit, and like the whole time, I'm like, that's fucking Chris's dad's fucking brother.
Right.
Cousin. Like, there's
Some
no way.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to do a genealogy search to
Right,
see if you have
right.
any
For
Zimmermans
real.
in your family or he has any Shawbacks. So. Now, Joey, I figured you would agree this is a good kind of after last month.
Yeah.
Well, this month, it's the 31st today, but what do you think? Just a good kind of feel good?
I think it's a good story. I mean, we're Murder Metal Mayhem, and I don't know if this falls into too much of those categories, but it's kind of mayhem in the fact that this dude he's not doing the norm at all.
No.
People described him as the only completely self-sustained person they've ever met.
Yes.
They said this dude, like, people talk about being self-sustained, but
This
there's
dude is
shortcuts.
real.
This dude was about it.
Yes.
And he fucking shared that with other people.
Right.
Like, he wasn't trying to fucking be a reclusive hermit. That
Right.
wasn't his intent.
No.
He was just trying to live off the land, and he didn't have any fucking care about technology and shit.
Right.
I mean, he was in the military, like we said, we were going to talk about. So, like,
Yeah.
he was obvious at that. I mean, this is a long time ago. He was in the military, but he was obviously up to par on everything that was fucking
that
technologically
time.
advanced
Sure.
at that time.
Technology.
Yeah,
So he came
radios.
from that, and he knew leaving that situation, that was something he didn't want any part of.
Right.
And
Yeah,
he
he knew it was only
continuously
gonna
went back
advance.
to his roots.
Yeah, he's definitely a rebel in a way, just breaking away from things. So
Yeah.
I think it does fall like Murder Mountain. We talked
Yeah.
about this kind of stuff.
I could never figure out the whole thing, and maybe we'll talk about it going. I didn't figure it out from watching the shit, like how this dude ended up in this spot. Like, did he own that land?
No, we're going to talk about
Okay,
it.
that's what
Yeah.
I could. I was like, well, he was in the military, so he might have had money to purchase
Yeah.
the land. But
No, we're going to talk about it.
hell yeah,
So this takes place in a very remote area called Elk Bend, Idaho. I keep wanting to say Iowa. Idaho.
I kept saying Iowa too, and I was like,
I know,
no
it's-
one's gonna know this story except Chris Durr. And I was like, no, it's fucking Idaho, not Iowa.
Not Iowa, Idaho, farther west. Just outside the town near the Salmon River in an area called the Dugouts, and even made a sign on the side of the mountain that said the Dugouts. It was kind of cool.
Hell yeah.
So the man that we know as Dugout Dick was born Richard Zimmerman in 1916 in Indiana, so not very far from us.
a long
Raised
fucking
on
time
farms in Indiana, Illinois, Michigan.
Yeah.
So he's from this general area. So Chris, I mean, is not out of the realm of possibility that
I
this could be
mean,
some
it
lost
could
kin, man.
be,
You never
It was a
know.
while ago.
That's
Like,
right. He had a rough childhood with a dad who was pretty harsh, and he ran away a few times in his teens, but eventually he's 18. He joins the military, the Army in 1942, right in the middle of World War II, and he goes to the Pacific. He was a truck driver in the Army. We called those 88 mics. That's a truck driver. I don't know about then if they called them
Why
that.
88 mics?
An 88 mic, 88M.
Oh,
So yeah, I was a 19 Delta, which was a scout, but he was an 88 Mike. And like other combat veterans, sometimes people see some awful shit and they don't want to fucking talk about it and they just kind of detach. And like Joey was saying, I mean, this guy took that much further than most people, Now, Chris, he was a Vietnam vet, which we know those guys had a rough fucking go.
fuck yeah, they did.
And so, when we did that Murder Mountain episode, remember some of those vets went up there to Northern California.
Basically how it all started, because that, just like the Murder Mountain, this is like secluded from anyone. There's nobody around
Right.
us, so they can
Do what they want.
do what they want to do. Like the exact same thing. He just did his different.
Yeah, he's not growing
He ain't growing
dope.
copious amounts of weed.
He's growing food and he's fishing and he's living off the land. Like Joey said, the only person that anybody knows of that was 100% self-sufficient.
Right.
Like did not go to stores. I mean, he made his own shoes. I mean, we're
Yeah.
going to talk about it.
Now, I'm going to bring up, because we're Murder Metal Mayhem, if you're listening to this episode just because of Dugout Dick for whatever reason, you might not get why I'm saying this, but our regular listeners. Now, Dugout Dick, he came from abusive home with a alcoholic, abusive father, and he went to the military and he saw some fucked up shit over there. But this dude didn't come out and become a serial killer.
Exactly.
he
Right.
came out and did some other shit.
Did some good shit.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
that's why, you always get those arguments like, oh, these people did this, and it's a surefire way. It's not
Right.
a surefire way.
Right, that's a good point, Joey.
They make their own fucking path.
Yeah, because
so.
how many of these guys we talk about had bad childhoods,
Yeah.
treated like shit? Some
Yeah.
went into the military.
yeah,
Son
some-
of Sam. There's been several.
And goddamn Dugout Dick, he had the redneck version of H.H. Holmes because he had the fucking place he could have been killing people up there.
Could have been.
Nobody
easily.
would have seen shit.
Nobody
he
would have
fucking
known about
wanted
that
that,
shit.
yeah.
And that's not what he did. So,
No, not at all. So 1947, he's home from the war, and he becomes a hermit and moves to Elk Bend, Idaho. Now, I was just like you, Joey. I was confused of how did he end up out there? Was it just by chance?
right.
So when he was a young man, he rode the trains as a hobo, and that's where he found the area. He worked there. He worked on some farms, and he learned to love that area. So that's when he went back after he got out of the Army. Now, an interesting side note, my grandfather also did that with riding the trains because he wanted to see the country when his family came over here from Italy. And so before he went to World War II, he also did that. So who knows, Chris? I might be related.
You could be very well.
My
could
grandpa
be, man.
could have known him. It would have been right around the same time. Legit. So, but I just thought that was interesting because my grandfather did the same thing for like a couple of years, like just
Right.
rode trains and met different people and played, cards. That's how he learned how to play poker really good. I mean, he was pretty
right.
interesting guy.
It'd be an interesting thing to do for like a month, and then I'm like, all right.
Yeah. I need my home and my Netflix and everything else. So it was obvious, though, that his PTSD issues from the war probably was a reason why he just didn't want to be in society. He tended to like the area anyway, so he picked this beautiful remote place, and everybody else referred to it, and he eventually does as well, as the dugouts.
Which I heard he was out there, like you said, he'd been there before. He's out there, and then there's like a fucking bridge that goes over the Salmon River, and they said he fucking walked over that, and as soon as he got on the other side of it, it was like, and he started building the first one, the cabin.
Right.
And that was just where
I'm
his place was
staying.
going to be,
Yeah, I'm staying because he had worked in that area, like we said. He also mentions in one of those interviews he couldn't eat boarding house food.
Right.
He says that a couple
Yeah.
different times. So he needed to grow his own food and live off the land.
The
So he
river's
had
right
this
there. He's got
river
the
right
water.
there. He's got plenty of area to grow his crops. He had fruit trees.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very, very...
He said that he
Good.
had some, like you were saying, he had some kind of issues with his fucking stomach, and that the fruits and vegetables was basically all he could eat. Otherwise, he would have abdominal issue. I don't know what the whole thing was.
Yeah, he
but
said the food that he was eating was just terrible.
He said he couldn't fucking do it anywhere, but with his stuff that he grew there, he was fine with it.
Yeah. So
And this
apparently,
motherfucker,
though,
he had a lot of animals too.
oh, I'm sure there were.
And he wasn't buying like fucking feed and shit for them. There was goats in there, and he had dogs and cats.
Right.
He's not buying them food, so obviously he's
Making
fucking
the
figuring
food.
out how to fucking
make-
feed them
Yeah.
out there
The
too.
animals,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, apparently, this was a tradition in that area for loners to settle. So he was not the first. He was actually the last
Yeah.
of this breed of hermits that liked to along that Salmon River, not exactly in the spot where the dugouts were, but in
Right.
that general area. So I thought that was very interesting. And it went back, they said, over 100 years.
Did you hold on? I got some of the names of some. You got Dugout Dick, right?
Right.
Here was
Oh,
some.
yeah.
Here was some of the other ones that also fucking settled out there too. There was Beaver Dick. There was Cougar Dave, Wheelbarrow Annie.
Wheelbarrow and oh my god.
There
Wow.
was Buckskin Bill, and there was Free Press Francis Wisner.
Wow.
So yeah, they all had some
I
classic
wonder why
names.
Annie was Wheelbarrow. Is that Annie? Wheelbarrow Annie?
Wheelbarrow Annie.
Wow.
We'll have to
Maybe
look
she
her
got
up.
so hammered they had to put her in a wheelbarrow at the end of the night.
Oh, Beaver Dick.
Yeah. But this
Yeah.
but every one of those and Dugout Dick, like you said, he was the last one. They all lived in this River Canyon area of Idaho.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's fascinating.
yeah. And
So-
that's I mean, for real, Maybe some of them were killers. You never know. Buckskin Bill. I mean, get the
Right,
fuck out of
possible,
here.
man.
But I mean, that for real. Like, whenever you think about that, like these people up in the area, like, and if you watch the videos and see where we're talking about,
Right.
it's hills have eyes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's definitely
Like, holy
definitely,
fuck.
yeah.
Yes. Very much so. Like some Sawney Bean shit.
Yeah,
yeah,
yes,
for real.
yes.
Now, Chris, he was quite the musician, playing a little guitar, a little banjo, harmonica on his porch outside the cabin. I mean, I think, he kind of had it going on there.
He's good at it. Obviously, you heard the song at the beginning.
Yeah,
Like,
giving
and
lessons.
teaching himself that shit to where he's getting lessons out on his own. Like,
Right.
did he make his own guitars?
I'm sure he either did or got them from somewhere. He wasn't buying them.
Right.
So he may have picked one up when he was hoboing. I'm not sure.
That's true.
Maybe he made his own strings. I don't
Right.
know.
He made his own everything. Dude,
His
he's
shoes. Did
Yeah,
you
he
see
said
that?
one of his fucking because he, basically fruits and vegetables. He ate meats too, but he said one of his proudest things that he ever made out there was yogurt, homemade yogurt. So I don't know how the hell he was making it, but fucking, that's what
Yeah, I
he
did
liked.
see that too. I thought that was strange.
Yeah,
So I wondered how he did this, since he didn't own the land. So basically, here's the deal. He just showed up. The federal government owned the land, and it falls under the Bureau of Land Management. So this guy just said, fuck it, I'm squatting, I'm staying,
fucking-
and
this is
nobody
me,
fucked
yeah.
with him. So he was there all those years, and nobody from the government
right.
Ever
ever
said
came
shit.
in and go, get the fuck out of
Nope.
here,
I'm
dude.
just like, well, that's old Dick's spot now. We
Yeah,
can't
leave
do
him
nothing
alone.
about
He
it.
ain't bothering anybody, So I don't know. I thought it was interesting. So he just decides to live there and dig out these caves on the side of this mountain with a pick and a shovel.
Yeah.
I mean,
A bunch
old
of 'em.
school,
And that-
Amish style, man.
And that's after his original one, because the cabin, fuck yeah.
Yeah. He did this. It was unbelievable. Now, some of these went into the mountain 100 feet. I mean, if you watch
That's
these
ridiculous.
videos, it's fucking crazy. It's
Yeah.
like low crawling or squatting with this reporter following after him, and it like
Just
goes
goes
on
forever.
and goes on. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You know something that really fucking blew my mind too is
What's
like,
that?
so this dude's like chisel, fucking hammering, using the drill like you said
Right,
for years and years and years into like hard rock and shit.
right.
The fact that this motherfucker at 90 years old could still sit there and play guitar and his
Yeah.
fucking hands weren't fucked. and all
Right.
that
Oh
shit.
my God.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I was
That's a
like,
good
goddamn
point.
dugout dick.
Right, right.
Dang old dugout dick.
So it was just interesting about that with the whole land thing, because I wondered the same thing. Like, how the fuck did he buy it or what?
And I mean, honestly, like there's not much there. It is kind of a barren area, but for being a barren area, it's still a pretty. It's a pretty spot.
It is.
There's the,
The
fucking
river
river,
right there.
running right there. Then you got fucking elevation, which we don't have in Illinois hardly. So
Right.
that just looks cool to us anyway.
Right.
But I mean, the spot is like if you look at it, it's a desolate wasteland.
Right.
But if you look deeper and see what Dugout Dick did, you're like, damn, you're kind of living in paradise over here.
Yeah, it was actually pretty cool. These
Yeah.
cabins were actually, they calls them cabins. They're basically caves. Were really nice. But originally, guys, he was looking for gold and silver with a metal detector. Never found very much. And he just thought, well, I did all this digging. I might as well do something with it.
Right? Make
I'm
my
going to live
house.
in them because in the summer, it's actually pretty cool. The winters are pretty nasty, but at least better than being in like a tent
Yeah.
or like a cabin.
Right,
cabin.
right.
So
You
this
know
is
what
what
I mean?
this is what I was curious about too. Is so he was in the military before this. Does he call those things that he makes dugouts? Is that like a more of a military term, or maybe
I had never heard of that, but not,
maybe
I
back
was-
then it was just like calling something a fort? The kids make
Yeah,
dugouts.
I'm not sure how the dugout
Yeah.
thing became a thing, but I'm not familiar with any military terminology like that. But obviously he served in a different era, and
Yeah.
maybe that was a thing. I'm
And,
not
and
sure.
I could, I mean, I don't fucking know what I'm talking about ever, but I could be wrong about this. But for whatever reason, I was thinking like dugouts, like growing up, like you would play Army and all that shit. And this is some mayhem for real. Me and my fucking uncle, like when I was young, fucking my grandparents up in Maine got this little bamboo patch on their land.
Yeah.
And we fucking cut trails inside of it, and like we would fucking run through that shit. That was like our fucking play area.
Yeah.
But we fucking dug a couple holes and like made punji sticks for real.
Oh,
Nice.
Dude, that's so stupid.
That's so
like
stupid.
Right?
thinking
You
about it
didn't
now.
shit on any of them, did you?
No, no.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But anyway, fucking. So I'm thinking from my fucking memory, I could be wrong, but dugouts to me was like, especially in the military, they would fucking dig out the hole in the ground and put the tarp over it.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Not like a standing tent area where they
Right.
were more fucking secluded and hidden. So
Yeah, I
could be
wonder if
wrong
it's just
about that.
Doug. You know, he
Yeah,
was
that's true.
digging them out, so
Yeah.
maybe that's where he came up with it.
If
you know?
any of y'all out there that listen know the fucking history of dugout, tell us about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Hey, okay,
I know
let-
it's a brand hitter box.
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that growing up, a dugout became, to me, a hitter box.
Hitter box,
Yeah.
Exactly.
And like for the longest time, fucking, I didn't even call this a hitter. For like the first fucking 5 years, this was a pinchy.
A pinchy.
Yeah. And I even had a
Never heard
homie
that
that
term.
we called Pinchy. Like that was his name.
Huh.
I know motherfuckers call them oneies all the time.
One,
too.
yeah, one is.
So he's got the salmon river there to fish. He's got this huge garden, vegetables, fruit, all sorts of stuff. Made his own wine, he said, to cook with, but he apparently wasn't drinking it for getting drunk, but who knows?
I'm sure he had a some
Maybe
now.
he had a few sips now and then. But you got to hand it to this dude just doing his own thing and just saying, fuck everybody. He decides to build more cabins in the mountain with the rocks like
How
he
long
did
is-
with his own.
How long does it take to do one, man?
I don't know, because he was doing it for 50 years.
God damn. And how many were there?
Dozens.
Like,
Dozens. They were all covered up. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
You can only see the one he lived in.
Right.
Only part of it, because they concreted it off for safety so people don't get hurt.
right.
Going in there like dumbasses like us that would want to go in there and take a tour and then wind up, dying of oxygen deficiency or some shit like that. So that but the government came in. We'll talk about that, and imploded them all. But when the dugouts were in their heyday, there were quite a few people living in these damn things, and said they were very nicely furnished. I mean, pretty amazing when they show what little you can see of his. I mean, these walls are like solid fucking rock, and like sharp corners, and like there's like a kitchen with a fridge and a fucking sink. So I'm guessing he like camper showered like rainwater and
Yeah.
washed dishes and cooked. I mean, pretty fucking amazing
Take a
stuff.
bath in the river.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
exactly.
making shit with he would get like fucking old doors,
Yeah.
fucking windshields or
Windshields.
fucking windows
To
from
make
cars.
windows.
And that's what he made windows at, or used those for
Yeah,
windows.
the cabins had windows
Yeah.
in them in the front. Like you could look out and see.
One of his biggest fucking resources was tires.
Yep.
Fucking all the discarded tires. He'd fucking collect all that. He did all kinds of shit
Yeah.
with the rubber from the tires.
Yes. Yeah. He was unbelievably MacGyver and shit out.
Yeah.
But these are really interesting. In the he was charging people either a quarter a night or $10 for a month.
Hell yeah, dude.
So he made a little bit of money.
And
He
let
was
me tell
doing
you,
the guitar lessons.
With inflation, even into the 80s, it was still a
Yeah.
quarter a day or 25 a month. Like he rose it a little bit,
Right.
but still $25 you can fucking chill here all month long.
Right, with all the food and everything
Yeah.
you'd ever want. In the 80s, he starts using a small portable generator for some electricity, but he was mainly using it so he could run that drill to keep making more cabins. So some people lived there, as you pointed out, Joey, for years.
Yeah.
And he worked on these cabins and continued building them until he was 90. At that point, he couldn't do it anymore, but the people that lived out there took care of him. So that was cool.
Did you say the only thing because he was fucking fully self-sustained and all that. I get that. The only thing that fucking made me kind of wonder was, of course, he was fucking old as shit in one of the last interviews, but
Right.
when he was showing the dude around, he fucking had a flashlight he kept fucking using to show him, like, oh yeah, this is where I do where you get your batteries from.
Yeah.
Where you
Well, I
getting
mean,
that?
I'm sure the people from the cabins were probably going into town.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's probably
Where you
And they
getting
probably
the-
donate shit to
Yeah,
him.
getting the
and-
gas for the fucking generator and shit.
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So they had to, some minimal supplies.
Right.
So very, very interesting. Now, Chris, old or Joey gets in these famous magazines of the time. I mean, they were doing stories on this guy. I mean, pretty amazing. Life, People,
National Geographic.
Yeah,
I mean, and you know, periodicals aren't what they were at the time, you know, but back then that was
a
fucking
huge thing.
deal.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about him. So you can talk about him in the newspapers and you can fucking, you know, write your articles and do all that. But whenever they would try to get him to do fucking, they tried to get him on the Tonight Show.
Yeah, Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time,
Yeah.
I mean, that is a big fucking
and he
deal.
asked him multiple times.
Yes.
And every time he was not interested whatsoever.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. He says something about, I'll get to that later. He makes
his
comment.
comment. Yeah, it's good.
Now, Chris, old Dugout would find some love eventually. It's a pen pal, starts with the lady in Mexico, but then he marries old Bonnie. So,
Fuck yeah, goes and she's like, fuck it, I'll come live in this fucking cave with you too.
Yeah.
So that's a hardcore woman right there, dude.
that's right.
I didn't see how long she ended up staying. with him.
Wasn't, I don't know how long. The guy said they had been married for years, so I don't know how many years. I didn't see anything on that either.
Right.
But eventually she would get weary of it. And
Be like,
so
this
she's
ain't
like,
quite
I
for me."
want to go live somewhere else. So
I mean, they're
she
talking
leaves him.
about fucking, this is Idaho, too. So
Right.
them winters in a fucking cave, that's
Brutal.
no joke right
No,
there.
no. So she winds up leaving. She says, fuck this, breaks his heart. And he talks about her all the time, apparently.
Singing the songs about her, about
Singing
Bonnie.
songs about her. He claimed that she haunted his cabin.
That's because she fucking ends up fucking going and moving
Yeah.
in with this guy
Right?
who murders her.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what the fucking details behind it were.
Right.
But, like, it was literally, like, not long after she left Dugout Dick's area, she moves in with this dude who ends up fucking murdering her.
Right.
And so then fucking Dugout Dick, he could swear in this one fucking room that the flickering of the candle would show her fucking spirit haunting that area.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy, but he never got over it, man. It just
No.
really broke his heart that she left him. So that sucks.
And then got
it's
murdered.
weird.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And then she gets murdered. So that's kind of creepy. But this guy is unbelievably resourceful. He made his own shoes from old tires and roofing nails. So
I mean, get her done.
yeah,
Fuck yeah.
he totally get her done.
That's the original Crocs.
That's right. That's right. Did you see that, Joey, where he talked about his fly swatter he made from the tires?
Yeah, he made, I mean, fly swatters, shoes. This dude was making everything. And like I said, the tires themselves was like his most valuable. If somebody fucking tossed a tire, he was fucking
all over
stoked.
it.
Yeah.
He was all over it.
And like I said, he fucking he had made a smoker into the side of the place too, but he also had other areas like a refrigerator area.
Right.
And like it was like a fucking home. But just so
it was.
different.
The refrigerator was built into the side of the rock
Yeah.
and it had a door on
Fuck
it.
yeah, it did.
So he had like ice probably, and then you
Yeah.
put the ice in there and then food.
Just
And,
keep it cold. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
He obviously,
pretty
you know, fucking wood burning, but he fucking made a stove, the fucking chimney going out, all that shit.
How do you get ice in Idaho in the summer?
Well, that's what I'm saying. These people had to be going into town to get
Yeah.
and stuff, or maybe the ice truck came out there with the ice for the people. Because there's all these cabins.
I mean, can you imagine fucking you're a prostitute down on your luck and all you gotta do is fucking turn one trick and then go up to Idaho and you can pay him $25 and you can live there a month. Like,
right? Yeah, that's
or
pretty cheap
like
living.
no bullshit. Some people stayed there years with him.
Yeah, they did. They did. Now, Joey, I thought his refusal to go on the Tonight Show was interesting, but what does he say in response to people asking him why he didn't go?
Well, you know, of course they're trying to fucking get him fucking plane tickets to go out there, and he
Oh,
says, "I ride Greyhounds, not airplanes." And this is the best thing he said.
is.
I thought he said the show is here, not in California.
That's right.
And that's for real. That's where
Yeah.
it was happening. Like, if you want to fucking check it out, come out here and fucking.
That's right. Come out here and
Yeah.
do the Tonight Show. if you
Johnny
wanna do
Carson,
it
I'll
out
put you up in my best dugout.
That's right.
Fucking right, man. I got you. You can have mine. Take
Could
mine.
live this Idaho life with me.
Yeah.
So you gotta love it. So Chris, I couldn't imagine though the winter had to be just gnarly.
Man, Like
How
his-
cold does it get in Idaho?
I have no idea.
Like
dude.
similar to here, you think?
I think colder.
Fuck.
Oh wow.
I
It's
mean,
more
it's fucking
north.
north fucking edge
That's
of
true.
fucking, the
Yeah.
state.
But dude, I can't even imagine like a cave. I mean, you got to block that shit off with some fucking tarps or some shit. Like,
No, and it was solid rock, windows,
with the door-
and
with
doors.
doors. Yeah.
He built like
Yeah.
these
But still.
solid ass fucking doors, but
And he had subterranean areas because he fucking all his fruits and vegetables, like he fucking canned all that shit.
right. So
Right.
you had to have somewhere to put
Yeah,
it.
and he had like fruit cellars basically. But
Right.
man, this motherfucker, he knew what he
really
was
had it
doing.
going on.
Yeah.
He
How much
had
fucking
makeup
time in a
air.
day did this dude have?
But that's
bro?
the thing is he's not spending any time going to work for some motherfucker for fucking
Yeah, he's
8, 9,
doing
10
his own
hours a
thing.
day, or he didn't have kids.
Right.
So there was nothing going on but him and his focus to fucking fuck with this big patch of land for decades.
Right.
Right? That makes a lot of
If
fucking
I saw
sense.
it, that's what I'm saying. Dugout Dicks is a Shawback because if Chris didn't have kids and he just ended up in a place like that, you could fucking do that. You'd make a fucking badass fucking place,
Dude,
you know?
like-
Yeah,
for
he
real.
really could because he had all the rock he could use, and he was digging
I
in.
smoke rocks.
And he even had like vents on the side
Yeah.
for like makeup air to come in, so
Yeah.
he had some circulating
Yeah,
air.
like,
I mean,
uh,
pretty
yeah,
fucking
air
ingenious
turns.
shit. Pretty amazing. But it's too bad the government filled in most of the cabins because you can't see much more than the kitchen and a bedroom in his, but the rest of them are all covered up. But some of these, like I said, went in 50, 60. There were some that were 100 feet in. Unbelievable. Guy doing this shit till he's 90 years old. He dies in 2010. But before that, he ends up in a nursing home. I love this end of the story. 94 years, guys. He's in a nursing home. And what does he decide to do, Joey?
Well, he was like,
Go home.
y'all got bingo here. Y'all got fucking TV. I don't want none of this shit.
No.
I'm going to fucking leave this goddamn mental institute or whatever,
Nursing
fucking old
home.
folks home. And he hitchhiked back to the,
The
fucking
dugout.
dugouts.
Yeah.
He was like,
Hitchhike.
that's my home, goddammit.
So I think they came and got him and brought him back. So definitely a feisty old bastard. But when he died, guys, his body was brought here to Illinois, buried with
That's
his
fucking-
family. Now, I did a search on Find a Grave.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Which is a cool thing if you're
Yeah.
trying to find where somebody's buried, and said he's in Valhalla Memorial Park and Mausoleum in Godfrey, Illinois,
Yeah, it's down south.
down by St. Louis, about 2 hours from us. I Google mapped that
Yep.
shit.
Find a
I
grave.
got
how
an
I
aunt that
found
lives there.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
So, yeah, I have to check that shit out.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. They got the plaque. You could see what it looks
Yeah.
like. It's a military style plaque which says PFC, Army, World War II. So really cool stuff.
But yeah,
Does it
no,
say
that
Dugout
site.
Dick on this.
Oh yeah, it
Still?
does. It says
Does it say-
Richard Dugout Dick.
Yeah,
it?
I think
Right
it
on.
does. Yeah.
But that Find a Grave, like you were saying, that's how when I went out to Findlay and I was looking for the Vera Joe Regal grave,
Right.
that's how I found. I was
Oh.
like, okay, so I got on there, and then fucking it shows you what it is. The only thing about it is it'll tell you what the plot number is. So if you can find a fucking
Marker.
yeah, then you can figure that out. But if you can't, what I did is fucking I watched fucking videos of whenever they did her fucking service.
Memorial. Okay.
And I fucking looked at the fucking
For
the
back-
roads and everything
Oh, wow.
to figure out like, okay, well there is this fucking monument
Right.
over here,
Oh, cool.
and we ended up finding it. But
Well,
yeah,
Find a Grave is like a network. My late wife, Shelley, she was part of this. And what happens is, like, if you're a member of that organization, if let's say you have a relative in, Connecticut,
yeah,
you go on there and say, is there anybody near, Hartford or whatever that can find this cemetery for me and this marker? And then they go for you and they
Yep.
take pictures, do whatever you want. And then they post them up to this site so that other people can then see it. So if you're trying to find something and you can't find it, if you know about where that might be, you
Yep.
can reach out to these people.
Right, right.
It's pretty cool.
And
And
it's
she
al-
used to go around here all the time taking pictures for people that were somewhere else that had relatives here
yeah.
in the central Illinois area. It was
Right,
pretty
right.
interesting.
And a lot of the fucking, like the Dugout Dick one definitely has it, but you can go on Find a Grave and then you fucking scroll down and it will have like an obituary or fucking.
Oh, yeah.
It will talk about, like, a lot of the shit about Dugout Dick was written right there in that fucking
Right.
page.
No, I got a lot of my information from that little bio they had on there, which was really good. So yeah, so there's, there's stuff out there on him. If you're interested. So anything, guys, to add to this story? No?
We dug out Dick.
Dugout Dick
right.
pretty
That's
dead.
right. So I got my info. I mentioned YouTube. The documentary that's really good is The True Story of Dugout Dick.
Yeah.
That's where this guy, just Joe Citizen, goes out and takes you on a guided tour. He has some good stories. And a lot of the stuff we talked about, you can actually see it. And the Find a Grave on him, he's got a really good bio, which had more info about, of course, where he was buried and some other things I didn't get from the documentary. But there's news stories about him. There's quite a bit on YouTube if you look. Just search for Dugout Dick. So yeah, that's the story about this guy. I think it was fun to just kind of do something like this.
It's interesting.
After an awful month, and it is an interesting
I was gonna say,
story.
and not all fucking like, God, I want to murder this bitch.
And there was a murder. There was a murder
Yeah.
and a little haunting issue. So, all right, so I'm gonna crank up some more Dugout Dick here, and let's hit that outro.
When the stars start twinkling and I starting thinking of the girl I left behind. The old fiddle swing and an old sheep praying and I'm coming back sometime. The old fiddle swing and an old sheep praying I'm coming back sometime. No shade you wait by the old garden gate in the blue ridge mountain home.
Dugout Dick just straight getting it.
Jamming,
Fucking
jamming. So Joey, who was our bumper music tonight, man?
All Dugout Dick.
Fuck yeah, man.
The fucking mega mix Dugout Dick
That's
tape.
right. That's right. Murder Metal Mayhem intro, Chris.
Low fucking 12, man.
You know it. Thanks to everybody out there listening. Again, we're doing this abbreviated version of a usual episode's much different. So if you're a new listener, first time hearing us, it's not our usual way of doing things, but we thought we'd do this bonus for you on a fun topic. So keep seeing the numbers rolling in. Again, we had a big week this week, just at about 4,000 listens. We appreciate that very much. So keep spreading that word.
Fucking right.
And also, my new book, Deeper Than Dead, comes out June 6th. I've had quite a few advanced orders, so thank you those that have, and quite a few readers commenting, saying they really like the book, so thanks a lot.
I'm halfway through and it's fucking awesome.
Fuck yeah, thank you. And we've got two versions. We've got the Infernal Deluxe version, which is in full color, 8.5 by 11, and then the standard paperback size in black and white, and these full-size posters, when they eventually get here from Germany. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm going to get myself all worked up into a fucking tizzy. And I'm not going to do that to myself tonight. So go to deeperthandead.com and get your copy today. All right, check out murdermetalmayhem.com to listen to the past episodes. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to that YouTube channel. We talk about it a lot, but, some good shit on there. So
Fucking right there is.
We're on pretty much every platform that's available for podcasts. So if you listen, comment, rate it, review, whatever you can do, because that helps.
Helps get the word out.
Yeah, and other people will more apt to see it, because those Apple Music and all these places, that's how they move you up and down the list. Is how
Well, we're
many
moving
people
on up.
listening to you. So the more the better. So that's good.
Don't be lazy. I know you smoke weed and listen to our shit. Just hit the like and say hi.
Exactly. Very simple to do.
Yeah, just hit like and say hi. That's it.
The show, you can support us by joining that 666 Club. That's our Patreon. And for $3 a month, guys, that's a pretty good price.
Yeah.
Get some cool backstage access, content nobody else does.
You could have heard the Manson family
You would
episode.
have already heard this one that everybody else is going to hear next week. So yeah, there's some good content on there. So thanks those that are already members, $3 a month. And we'll link to that in the episode description. No karaoke tonight, but I thought why not tag out with a little more Dugout Dick. So we'll do that. And until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And just keep on picking and grinning in your cave in the mountain.
Oh, my daddy and my mother and my two little brother, they welcome me back home. No, daddy had me when I climb up the hill.
Mother, man.